Hello, gang. It's Mark Walmsley here. I'm the founder and director of the Arts and Culture Network. I love these video moments with our members because I get to learn so much about everyone. And I'm delighted that Jessi has joined me today again. She's waving. There we go. Jessi, we've been having a little conversation, and I think the phrase creative polymath popped up because you've done so much in the creative space and in design. Would you like to introduce yourself briefly to everybody?
Sure. My name is Jessi Fraser. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota in the US. And like you said, I've been in the creative industry since I was 19, and I'm in my 40s now. So I've done pretty much everything. I've been a graphic designer, UX designer, photographer. I had a radio show for a while, and I worked in the music industry, and also now I'm in the movie industry. So it's just kind of, you just gotta keep going. It's fun.
That's
And I'm also
fantastic.
an artist, so a sculptor and a painter. So
As we can see from the backdrop there, which is great. That's wonderful. I mean, I don't think I've ever met anyone who's had quite the same wonderful variety of experience across the different disciplines in our industry, which is fantastic. So wherever this appears, people will be able to see examples of your work and perhaps links to stories about the kind of work you've been doing. So we'll make sure that that's there. But what I wanted to touch on briefly, and this is something you mentioned that you had been doing and enjoy and want to do more of as you find the next lane for your creative expression and helping other people. I was fascinated by the thought, the work that you did with UXPA around, and I think we've coined the phrase already, haven't we? Mindful creative workshops.
yeah,
Tell me more about that, because I'm fascinated, because the capacity to be creative is so important. It's not just for visual or performing artists or literary artists. We all need to remain creative if we're going to innovate and inspire other people. So tell me a little bit more about the workshops.
well, the workshops are the last one I did is a really good example, because we actually had a paint night with UXPA, and the members of UXPA are UX designers. And it's just a community of people, and they're all over the country. Each state has their own little group. So they meet up once a month and meet each other, network, and then do some kind of workshop to learn something. And they hired me to do a paint night at a paint pub. And there was
Sorry, wait. A paint pub? I need to know more about this.
yeah,
What's a paint pub?
it's a place where you can go to paint, and they have projects for you to do while you're there, and then you can drink while you're there. And it's not hard alcohol, it's like wine and beer. And Minneapolis has paint pubs kind of all over the place. It's like a date night thing, where you and
Love
your
that.
spouse
I
can go
love
paint.
that. I think I'm
Yeah,
going to have to track some down here, and if there isn't one, I might open one. There we
yeah,
go.
no, they're cool. But
Yeah.
instead of doing their project, what we did is I set up like a presentation for creative brainstorming. And then at the beginning, we do a mindful meditation on how to kind of access your subconscious and dive down to kind of pull up your creativity for the betterment of your career, because that's what we were there for. And then each table, there was probably 8 people at each table, and we did brainstorming within those tables to make it a little faster, because there was about 40 people there. And each table had to do the brainstorming exercise to whittle it down to 3 ideas for an abstract art project. And then within those 3 ideas, they had to change it up again, and then they swapped canvases and had to start someone else's canvas for them. And then the person whose canvas it was, had to finish it the way that they wanted to finish it. And there were some really brilliant things that were made. It was exciting to watch, because everybody was a little self-conscious, but yet they had whittled it down enough that they had an idea in their head that they hadn't, anticipated having. And everybody was just really excited at the end, and very happy with their paintings that they got, because who doesn't want somebody to make them something? you know. And so it was really fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I would love to do more of those. Actually, it was really a good time.
That sounds fantastic. I would love to do one of those. I love the way that you mixed it up that way. So there's a kind of combined creativity going on as well, because you've got to work with something, with an idea that's come from somewhere else as well, which is fascinating. I absolutely love that. It reminds me of the story of a rather creative moment at Xerox. And you would be great at doing something like this for an organization like that, because they had a challenge. Their paper feed kept jamming with the in one of the models of their photocopiers and printers, and they had a particularly creative chief operating officer at the time, and he hired an ear, nose and throat specialist to come in and talk to them. And during the course, because he wanted to solve a blockage problem. Okay. So he thought, we'll bring that third person, unexpected third person in, and he was a ear, nose and throat surgeon. And during the course of the conversation, he happened to mention that typically when someone has a bad head cold, only one of their nasal passages blocks. And it's rare for somebody to be completely and utterly, my experience, unless I'm unusual, is like that. It's only, you can normally breathe through one of them. And often it'll go from one to the other as well, which is horrible. But and so Xerox put a second paper feed in, which triggered when the first one blocked. So you would never get a paper jam, if they had a whole different process so it would just pick up from where it left off using paper from a different tray. And it's very, very clever. And the guy said afterwards, we would not have come up with that solution had we not brought in this third idea. So I love the idea of where you're having to continue to create art with something that you've almost creatively inherited, and say, okay, what's our interpretation of what's going on here? And how can we, and then give it back to the original team, who then look at it and go, whoa, how did that happen?
Right.
But isn't it great?
It's like taking two things and combining them into one. It's like the Apple Watch. You got a computer and a watch and a phone. So you take two totally different ideas and merge them into one, and it usually creates something very creative and out of the box. So
I'm thinking creative convergence workshops. That's nice. I'll send you the invoice. Thanks. Oh, this has been great. Thank you so much, Jessi. It's lovely to have you in the gang. That was fascinating, and I'm sure people, when they find these videos, they'll want to track you down, because I can tell you now that the time we've spent together has been great fun. It's inspiring, and if you ever decide to do any creative coaching, I'll be on your list of prospective clients.
Very sweet. Thank you. I appreciate this time. So, and if I get into creative coaching, I will totally let you know. I'll let everybody know. So
great. Thanks again, Jessi.
Thanks.